Before we get started, I want to make sure that you know a little bit about Professor Dexter. She is a tremendously amazing woman that knows more about probiotics than I ever thought I would know in the 15 years that I've been working with Biotics. Professor Dexter has spent 30 years as a microbiologist. She has spent 11 years working with the USDA as a research biologist on or specializing in microbial ecology. 7 years as a biology professor at Bradley University. She holds personally 4 product patents herself. She has worked for companies such as DuPont, ConAgra, and Procter & Gamble. She's received numerous awards from the Top 100 R&D Research Magazine, from USDA for the best invention. She just is an amazing woman, and we're very, very fortunate, Professor Dexter, to have you here with us today. So
well,
once again,
thank you so much.
Thank you. You know, you and I spent 8 months here working on this project, and I thought I knew everything there was to know about Biotics, but boy was I surprised. I know when I first started taking the product and then marketing the product, every day I was very surprised because something different would change in my body. And as I talked to customers, every day somebody would call and say, oh, well, this happened to me, and oh, well, that happened to me. And it was always so different. It wasn't like just what appeared to be a gut-related problem. It was so many, many things. Even people with talking about how they weren't as hungry as they had been before. So I thought, well, they must be having greater satiety with their eating their food, and their nutrients must be absorbing more. So I always knew that Biotics was an incredibly dynamic product, but I just never knew quite why and how all of it works. So today I want our audience to have a good feeling about what probiotics really are, especially SBOs and SBO consortia. So let's start out by first distinguishing what is a probiotic, generically speaking, and what you've now taught me. We have a probiotic consortia, which I never knew. So tell our audience, what does all that mean? Why should that matter to them?
Well, I think probiotics, most people recognize those as friendly bacteria, but really we are going beyond bacteria today. And when we talk about soil biotics, we're going to talk about what those bacteria produce in the human body. And what's so interesting is that 80% of your immune cells are in your gastrointestinal tract. And also within that gastrointestinal tract, there are more bacteria than there are cells in your body. And all of those bacteria produce what we call end products. In other words, they secrete compounds into your gastrointestinal tract, and they communicate directly with hormones in the gastrointestinal tract. They communicate with immune cells in the gastrointestinal tract and with the intestinal epithelium. So it's no wonder when you have a mix of probiotics going in orally that you're going to have a lot of different effects. And what we know now is that humans, whether you want to say they evolved, or whether you want to say that there was divine intervention, or a little bit of both, however you want to say that, these organisms developed with humans as humans have developed over thousands and thousands of years. And so what we find is so different about the body biotics is that it consists of what we call a consortium of microorganisms. And those are organisms that were isolated together, and together is the operative word, so that they form a symbiotic mix. And what we mean by that is that one type of organism feeds a second type of organism, and that organism feeds a third type of organism with its end product. So you have, in the case of Body Biotics, a culturing system that allows for a primary fermentation, and then a secondary fermentation, and then a third fermentation. And all of that is happening in the presence of what we call a matrix. And that is a mixture of vitamins, minerals, and proteins that feed the bacteria. In other words, that keep the bacteria going, so that once they grow through one growth spurt, then you have a second growth spurt and a third growth spurt. And that's what doesn't happen when you're just doing a single probiotics like Lactobacillus acidophilus, for instance.